Hello and good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining with us. That too on a festive morning with a long weekend. So, a happy Dashera to everyone. We really hope, wish, and pray that health crisis, COVID, financial crisis is all now past, and we move on. And everyone, we wish everyone a very healthy and a prosperous future. Just to give you a quick introduction, myself Smith Shah, founder of MoneyMentors, a boutique wealth management firm managing finances for across 100 families, in fact more than 100 families now. And we are into insurance and investment solutions. So you guys can reach out to us for any kind of insurance and investment services. And in case you have any feedback, queries, suggestions, feel free to reach out. Our contact details are on the description of this video. Okay, so academically, I have done international CFA and have experience across equity research, technical analysis, and credit research, and have worked with a, top MNC like a US based investment bank. And so, moving on to today's topic, so the topic is like so the talk of the town is Sensex at 61,000. So the question asked by everyone is, what should be the strategy? What should be the next strategy moving ahead? Whether we should book all our profits in the current market scenario, or the guys who have missed out on the rally, feels like out of FOMO, whether I should enter now. Okay. So the answer is very simple, and the answer is what we will be discussing in this presentation today. Okay. For me, it's very simple. If you ask me 10 years future, the current valuations look very cheap. If you take me 10 years back, when Sensex was at 18,000 in 2011, the current valuations are definitely expensive, right? But no one thought Sensex will go 3x in next 10 years, but it is where it is right now. So we expect a similar kind of a movement, in fact, more than that in the next 10 years. Okay. So what we have done is in our firm we do analysis on monthly basis, quarterly basis, yearly basis, and at the start of this decade, we also did a decade analysis. That means next 10 years का horizon या क्या prospect है वो जानने के लिए हमने next 10 years का analysis किया था, and the numbers are mind boggling. They are crazy. So in January, when Sensex was at near 46,000, we posted a targets of Sensex at 2 lakhs by 2030 and Nifty at 50,000 by 2030. Yeah, you have heard it right. It's 2 lakhs Sensex by 2030. It's not only me. Various other analysts or big investors have said that, like Rakesh Junior also has said that he expects the Sensex to reach to 2 lakhs by 2030. Many of us have come to us saying, तुम लोग क्या है, तुम्हारा काम है बेचना, so you just come and give vague targets and you move on. But in the end, it's investors who has to bear the losses. So when we say these targets like of 2 lakhs, or when we come with any numbers, we have done a lot of research behind it. Okay, so there is a lot of data mining, data crunching, and lot of models are being run, and then we derive at some numbers. So to discuss with you, I don't think I will be discussing a lot of numbers with you guys, because it can be a bouncer for a layman. But we'll discuss a lot of concepts on why we feel India has a future, why we feel India will grow, and it will grow, exponentially in this 10 years. So, as you can see in the presentation, we have said it as India as the destination of prosperity. So, definitely it is a destination of prosperity when we consider the next 10 years. Even Rakesh Jhunjhunwala says, जब घर पे अच्छा खाना मिल रहा है तो होटल क्यों जाना है? Meaning, when you know that India is going to grow so much, why do you want to go outside? So let's talk on why we feel India is going to grow at such an exponential level. Okay, so to give you some background, how does a country grow? Okay, it grows basically when the GDP of that country grows. Okay, and how will the GDP grow? It is mainly basis two things. One is consumer spending and the other is government spending. Okay, so today we will discuss a lot of factors on why we feel that the consumer spending has increased drastically, and same ways why government spending has increased drastically, and what is the result out of that. Okay, so whenever spending increases, say for example I increase my spending. Earlier I was spending 10,000, now I spend 50,000 per month. What will happen is when I spend, someone else earns, right? So maybe if he earns good, he will expand, he will hire more people, and at the same time his spending capacity also increases, right? So it's a circle wherein if one people spend a lot, naturally someone else earns, his earning capacity has increased, so naturally he also spends, and the circle continues. And that way, since there's a lot of demand, lot of buying going on, lot of production is going on, and then we say the GDP has grown. Once the GDP grows, naturally the country grows, and that impact is naturally seen in the stock market as well. So let's start with consumer spending. What are the changes we have seen in last few years, and why we feel consumer spending has increased exponentially in the last 5 years, and next 10 years are going to be crazy. Okay. So let's start with the first topic, which is middle class population. Now we all know middle class population in 2005 stood at 5 crores only. Okay, and now it has increased to 60 crores. So I have the data till 2018. Like if I have to publish a number, I have till 2018. But yes, I have the number by 2021 as well, which is not published, but yes, it is somewhere in the range of 66 to 67 crores. Okay, so imagine that increase from 5 crores to 60 crores. What happens is this middle class population is very important for the country to grow. Why? See, rich class always like they spent earlier as well and they are going to spend now as well. No change. Poor class, they are not spending earlier as well. They won't be able to spend now as well. Again, no change. But the major change comes in middle class. Now, why is that? Okay, so earlier, if you guys can take example in your families, maybe our parents or grandparents, they mainly focused on basic needs. Okay, and nowadays we guys focus a lot on lifestyle. Okay, so if someone asks you, if your parents ask you that for some reason, some event, we have to go to our native. Generally, today's youth, what they say is, how are we traveling? The first question is, how are we traveling? If by a flight I am in, or else I am not in. Maximum a three-tier AC, right? So our parents, grandparents even have traveled in trains without tickets and so on. Why I'm giving this example is now we are focusing a lot on lifestyle. This generation needs 7 pairs of watches. He wants to wear new watch every day. He wants his wardrobe to be fully, with all the new clothes. So he spends a lot on clothes. We spend a lot on daily needs, like we eat a lot of junk food outside. Earlier, this was not the case. Our parents used to have meals, three-time meals at our home. But nowadays, we spend काफी इजीली हम दिन में 100-150 रुपए का स्पेंडिंग तो इजीली कर देते हैं. So to conclude, we are spending a lot. Today's generation is spending a lot on lifestyle, okay, whereas earlier that was not the case, and hence spending has increased. We are trying to take the Western culture wherein they earn Monday to Friday and spend everything on weekends. So the culture is quite similar over here as well now, that whatever we are earning, we spend everything. So saving का concept धीरे धीरे कम हो रहा है, and hence the spending का concept has increased. Now what happens? As I said, spending is increasing. That means the economy is doing well, and it will do well. Okay, so as I said earlier, the old age people, they focus, they have a limited mindset. They worry for their family, and they focus more on what that they want to leave a legacy for their children. Okay, now middle aged people nowadays, again, they also thought that yes, I want to leave something for my children. But today's youth, they are very much free mindset. The buying capacity has increased significantly. They spend high. They don't want to keep anything for the new generation, and they focus more on luxury. कैपेसिटी नहीं है, फिर भी आईफोन चाहिए, कार चाहिए, everything has to be top end, right? So that's why spending is increasing, and we feel this will go ahead, this will continue ahead as well. So one of the reason why spending is increases is because middle class population has increased from 5 crores to 60 crores, meaning the basic salary, the minimum expenses which they spend, okay, First, only 5 crore people were there who were spending that, but now there are 60 crore people who will be spending in a similar way. So naturally, the spending has increased significantly. The second concept is the demographics, that is age-wise population demographics. Okay, so demographics says that we right now maximum population stands between 22 to 55. Okay, that is the earning age. Now even if you don't look at statistics, अपने अपने घर पे ही अगर अपन देख लेते हैं, say for example during my grandparents time they had 7 8 children. Okay, so earning members were how many? One, two, or maybe three, and 5 to 6 people were dependent, right? Then let's come to my dad's age ka people, wherein there is one people who is earning. Maybe everyone has 2 children, so 3 people are dependent, and one of the member is earning. Okay, but nowadays we see that there are almost three, like in my family, there are 3 members who are earning right now, and only one dependent member is there. So naturally, since the population is such that more people are in the falling in the working age category, we have seen more people earning. Naturally, if in a family more people are earning, naturally the spending capacity increases, and hence again we tend to spend more, right? If there is the load is only on one person, naturally the spending capacity goes down. But if more people are earning, we have a capacity and we can bindas spend on whatever we want to. So this is, forget about statistics, just look at around ourselves only. Okay, we also have seen that how the generations have changed, like have changed the way we have children as well. So our grandparents have had 7 8 children, but now we have come to two, and now eventually to one. So that is helping us, and hence the dependent members are reducing and the independent members are increasing drastically. Okay, so the demographics show that we are expecting this to continue till at least 2040, wherein maximum population will be falling under the earning category, that is 20 to 55. Okay, now the other factor which is helping here is the interest rates. Okay, so interest rates in 2000s was in the range of 12 percentage. In 2010s it was in the range of 9 percentage, and currently it is in the range of 6 percentage. So we have seen every decade interest rates are coming down by 3 percentage. Right, now what happens because the interest rate goes down? So for a company like Reliance, okay, it is very easy to borrow at 7.5 8 percentage in current scenario. Now Reliance knows for a fact that he can easily earn 14 15% per year, okay, on any of the existing segments, or even if he expands and goes for a new segment, which we have seen the case with Reliance. If I have to give you an example, okay, so what happens is when the companies expand, naturally again they will hire more people. If they hire more people, because of employment, more people are earning, and hence more people are spending, and the cycle continues. So that is one reason. The other reason is when the interest rates are coming down, we have a tendency of not to save and to spend more. We think FD में रख के भी क्या मिलने वाला है? The interest rates have gone so down. Rather, let's spend, and that's how expenses, like the spending capacity, increases. The other reason is we haven't heard the concepts of low cost EMI or no cost EMI before 5 years. We have started to hear this since last 5 years, right? So what happens over there is, because of this low cost EMI, no cost EMI concepts, we tend to spend more. Okay, now just to give you one example, मेरे बिल्डिंग का वॉचमैन भी आईफोन लेके बैठा है, एंड व्हाट ही सेज व्हेन आई आस्क हिम दैट व्हाई आर यू बाइंग सच एन एक्सपेंसिव फोन, इट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड फॉर यू. ही सेज दैट क्या फर्क पड़ता है सर, आई हैव टू जस्ट पे 2000 रुपीज का ईएमआई, I will pay that and I'm getting to enjoy an iPhone, right? So that's the mindset. Even we buy a car which is out of our reach, which is not required, just because we are getting all these facilities on EMIs, right? So because the interest rates are coming down, we have the concepts of no cost, low cost EMIs, and naturally because of which the spending increases. Now, one more very important factor which I missed while we were discussing demographics is, we all know how female workers have increased drastically in the last 10 years, right? We have seen a lot of women starting to work in the last 10 years. So basically, culture wise, we are changing, India is changing. But statistics says that from north of India to central of India, south of India is an exceptional, but north to central, which includes northeast and northwest, female workers generally work either till marriage or max to max till first child. So this is like 60% of the female workers work either till marriage or till first child. Now, thanks to COVID, like it has come as a blessing in disguise for us that all those female workers will continue to work. Why? Because now the companies have realized that they can work from home, right? The concept is very much, it was very much new earlier, but now everyone has adjusted. So even they know, the companies know that yeah, people can work from home and it's a cost saving opportunity for them. So hence they will allow employees to work from home, and that's where females can work from home taking care of children and at the same time work as well. So naturally, if two or more people are earning, initially if there is a husband and wife leaves her office after first child, the salary or basically the spending capacity decreases, right? Because the earning member has decreased. But now, because of COVID, I assume that both husband and wife will continue to work and hence higher earnings and in turn more spendings. Okay. So these were 3 4 segments where we feel that the spending has increased significantly and will continue to increase over the next 10 to 15 years. Okay. Now, moving on to government spending, okay, we have seen a lot of work going on. I agree that a lot of people say that politicians are here just to say, they don't work, they just shout and they just show off, but there is no work going on. But honestly, there are few groundwork, like there is a lot of work going on. If even if like this statement says that Nitin Gadkari says we are constructing 30 kilometers per day, sorry, so even if 50% of it is truth, okay, we are more than the average of last 20 years, right? So yeah, definitely there is spending going on. And let's take our example, like people from Mumbai, okay, we have seen a complete Mumbai under the construction of metro since last 3 4 years, okay. So there's a lot of work going on. There's a lot of hiring going on. There's a lot of laborers working on it. Naturally, they are earning a lot, and again the cycle continues. So work, there's some groundwork going on as well. So we have seen Nitin Gadkari's statement. Then moving on to this concept where Nagpur Mumbai Samruddhi Mahamarg, which is a super project, and the roads are really brilliant. So that we have seen work going on there as well. Then we all know the metro trains and the bullet trains today going on. Delhi is developing a new station, which obviously will take some time. It will be developed in 2024-25, maybe even more. But yes, there's some work going on, right? We have seen Chardham Highway project as well. Then Diamond City is something which I have seen personally. So the concept is superb, and already 50 to 60% of the BKC, the Bandra Kulla Complex Diamond Market, has already moved to city like Surat. Okay, and the clients from Hong Kong and China these days straight away go to Surat. They don't even come to BKC and straight away go to Surat. So this is again a superb infrastructure related. Although some parts are still in progress, but yeah, a super project. Then we have India's bullet train project, right? So there are several concepts where we feel that yes, India is moving in the right direction. There's a lot of spending going on, and that will in turn help the country to grow. Okay. Now the best part, you can say it's fortunate or unfortunate, it's COVID-19. Why COVID-19 will act as a major player in Indian economy. Okay, so generally when we compare the major economies right now, there are three countries which come into our mind. Okay, one is US, second is China, and third is India. Now USA has a very low population as compared to the you know when you compare it to the area wise, if you compare the population, it has very low population. Okay, so the production levels are very high, but the consumption levels are very low. Okay, so the production capacity is high, but consumption is low. Naturally, what happens is they rely a lot on exports. Okay, moving to China. Definitely, China, the population is too much. It is even more than us, but their production capacities are beyond our reach. Okay, they produce in a different, like their game is altogether in a different ball game. Okay, so what happens is, even though the consumption is high, since the production is multifold, they also have to rely a lot on exports. Moving to India, definitely India is also dependent a lot on exports. Okay, but just to give you one example of last year, India exports a lot of mangoes. Okay, and why we export? Because we want to earn foreign exchange, foreign currency, and at the same time we can sell it at a higher rate outside India as compared to inside India, right? And hence we export. But last year, due to trade restrictions, trade barriers, there was a lot of reduction in the exports. But what happened? It was not the case that all the mangoes, got waste, but rather everything was consumed. Why? Because India में इतना capacity है of self consumption. Because the population is high, consumption levels are high. So what I'm trying to convey here is, even if India का exports कम हो जाता है because of such trade restrictions, barriers, because we know COVID is here to stay and it will continue for next 3 4 years, with some or the other different kind of mutants or different viruses. So India will be in a better position, because if trade exports or any of the uh, import export are impacted, India is someone who will be less impacted. Hence, all the countries will try to move to India because they know that here the consumption levels are high. Again, because of COVID, we have already seen countries are in a, basically China is spoiling the relationship with a lot of countries, and hence India is taking a super advantage of it. Already, Nitin Gadkari is inviting everyone in India to start their production houses. So COVID-19 is a blessing in disguise for India, wherein we have the opportunity to move ahead of USA and China. Okay, moving to next topic. If we see the history, okay, whenever the GDP increases, like if we see GDP significantly grew from 50 lakh crores in 2008 to 193 lakh crores in 2021. GDP increases, meaning per capita increases. Whenever there is an increase in per capita, the market cap also increases. What happens when market cap increases? Naturally, Sensex, basically the equity market, has grown, right? Now, because of all this data, and we have done a lot of data crunching, okay, so where we feel the GDP will be going to 400 lakh crores by 2030. If this figure goes to 400 lakh crores, then I think we are not wrong when we say we'll see Sensex hitting 2 lakh rupees. Okay. So basically our assumptions and everything, like the data comes from here, and hence we say we expect Sensex to reach at 2 lakhs. Now let's look at some of the past data, or who has dominated the world. So generally America is always the dominant country. It has dominated by 256 percentage, and India has played a very small role over there. Okay, so let's understand what happens when a one decade belongs to a particular country. Okay, so say for example last decade belonged to US. So we have seen whenever there is a big winner in one decade, their economy grows by as high as 600 percentage as well. Okay, so that's a great thing. But what's the issue now? The next decade is very bad for them. Okay, because the growth rate is almost negative. Okay, so since USA had a great last decade, we expect them not to have that great decade. Okay, and already China is spoiling relationships, and most of the countries are moving out of China. Again, that concludes that maybe India is the one who will be having a upper hand. Now, what we have to learn from here as well is, if we believe that this decade belongs to India, okay, then we have to earn so much in this decade, because next decade will be a bit slow. Okay, so if it is slow, we have to earn sufficient that it is, we cover up for the next decade as well. Okay, so every decade had a big winner. Like 1950s belong to Europe, 60s USA, 70s commodities. Commodities meaning countries who are major exporters of commodities. Then 80s Japan, 90s USA, 2000 emerging markets. Over here, India contributed, like had some contribution, but Majority of the contribution was done from China. Okay. Again, 2010 was by USA. Now, talking at all this data, I think you guys know 2020 belongs to whom. Okay. So, if the answer is India, you guys know what kind of growth we will be seeing, right? So, my suggestion to everyone is invest in India. Okay, we are having a big opportunity over here. Now, to add some data to this concepts as well, is one is every time whenever a country reaches a market cap of $1 trillion, okay, $1 trillion, or rather I will say whenever country reaches $3 trillion. So let's take an example of small business. Whenever someone starts with a business, for the initial 2 years it is a bit tough, right? So maybe there are possibilities that he has just got 200 clients in the first 2 years, right? बट फॉर थर्ड ईयर बिकॉज ऑफ इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल एक साल में ही उसको 200 क्लाइंट नए मिल गए. सो पहले 2 साल लग गए 200 क्लाइंट लाने में, बट नाउ इन द थर्ड ईयर एक साल में 200 क्लाइंट आ गए, एंड दैट वी कॉल एज इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल. And then the reach increases, branding increases, right? Networking increases that way. So same way it belongs to country as well, that it takes time to reach 3 trillion economy. Okay, so India has reached 3 trillion in 2020 June. Okay, now statistically it has shown like USA, China, and Japan, all of them when they cross 3 trillion, because obviously 3 trillion from 0 to 3 trillion they took almost 35 to 40 years to reach there. Okay, now even India took almost 50-60 years to reach there. Okay, so if they have reached 3 trillion, from 3 trillion to 8 trillion the journey is very easy, and that journey is covered in just 10 years. So what I'm trying to repeat is 0 to 3 trillion, if a country takes 40-45 years, that's okay, but from 3 trillion to 8 trillion, USA, China, and Japan just took 10 years, and we crossed 3 trillion in June 2020, right? So you know that again we can expect that from a 3 trillion economy to a 8 trillion economy, we can just cross it in next 10 years. Again, one more important data is economics says that economically India is at the same position where China and USA were there in 1980s. Okay, so it is not ideally a good thing because we are behind by 40 years, right? But if they say that economically we are in the same position, USA and China grew significantly from 1980 to 1990, and even we are in the same position, right? So all these data, when I match everything, everyone is indicating that yeah, this decade, sorry, belongs to India, right? So all the data is suggesting we are having a good decade, and when Sensex was at 46,000 in Jan, we gave these targets. Now today, within just 10 months, it has crossed 15,000 points and it has crossed 61,000, right? From 46,000 to 61,000. When we gave these targets in January, no one believed us. Suddenly, everyone is saying, yeah, your targets were very much right because of this 15,000 points rally. Again, if the market falls by 5,000 points, they will say, okay, no, it's not working. So don't fall in this short-term trap. Okay. My suggestion is, if you are a long-term investor, invest systematically. Okay, within a given, in a very systematic manner and in a phase-wise manner, and just keep on investing from 2021 to 2027. If you are tired after investing, keep the money as it is in 2030 till 2031. In 2031, you guys can take or withdraw all the money back because we expect 2031 to 2034 to be a very slow period. Okay, and then we'll see how the economy turns. We'll see at that time. I'm not saying that it will be just a one-side rally in next 10 years. Obviously, there will be ups and downs, but don't worry about anything. The way we have reached from 18,000 Sensex to 61,000 in this 10 years, the next 10 years will definitely be much more better as compared to last 10 years, right? Now one more data, which is very good, where I say government spending has increased significantly is, I think you guys have heard, and the recent example is Air India, that government is willing to sell off all their holdings, like all the public listed companies like Air India. they wanted to sell off or at least divest their stake. So now Air India is a recent example. They have completed the proceeds, but they also want to sell off Concor, BPCL, ONGC, and lot more other companies. Okay, what will happen is the government is trying to sell off, privatize all these companies. So whatever cash flows government will receive, they will invest significantly in the infrastructure. We have already seen that. Okay, now you must have also heard the concept of PLI, production linked incentive schemes. Okay, so government is willing to spend some 42 lakh crores in the last 2 years in a way that they are inviting all the companies in India. They are saying you produce over here, okay, you start your production over here, and we will give you a lot of incentives. Naturally, when we give incentives, companies are attracted over here. How it helps a country's infrastructure development is seen, and at the same time, a lot of jobs are created. Okay, so recent example of PLI is you must have seen iPhones are generally like made in China, Taiwan, or USA. Okay, but recent data shows that 5 or 6% of the total production of iPhone has started from India, and by 2025, 50% of the production of iPhones will be from India. What is happening? We are inviting companies to come in India, start their production over here. More jobs, more earnings. The GDP is growing. At the same time, the company is more interested in coming to India because of the production linked incentive scheme, wherein they get a lot of tax benefits, lot of other benefits as well. Okay, so PLI mein one example is iPhone ka. We have seen like recently Nitin Gadkari said, I am asking Tesla to come and produce in India. We don't want to import from China. This was a direct statement from Nitin Gadkari to Tesla that we don't want to import from China. You come over here, you produce over here. Whatever help you need, we are there to provide it to you. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to convey is a lot of developments are happening inside. We guys are not aware about it. If we go through news on daily basis, you guys will come to know a lot of things. And more than that, apart from all these things, we all agree to the consumer spending part which we discussed right now. Spendings have increased drastically, which is leading to the complete growth. Okay, so the concept, the answer to the question where what should be the strategy of investment from here on. If you are a long-term investor, don't worry about anything. Invest in a systematic way. Maybe you can start a SIP or invest in stocks every month in a systematic way. Don't worry about the downfall. Whenever there is sharp down move, try to take opportunity, like consider it as an opportunity. Invest more at lower levels. I'm sure the next 10 years India is going to be very new. We all, if someone misses this 10 years, he'll be crying in 2030, that's for sure. So invest as much as possible for this 10 years. And it's very simple. If you don't own a business, try to be part of someone else's business who is doing good. How you can do it? By investing in direct equity or via mutual funds, right? So invest in direct shares, invest in mutual funds, keep a habit of savings, and I'm sure you will be much, much more wealthier in 2031. Okay, so as Rakesh Junjunwala says, invest in India. It's only India, India, and India for the next 10 years. My message to all of you is the same. Invest in India for next 10 years, and you guys can come to me in 2031 saying yes. Thanks to you. You can thank me later on when you create a wealth of maybe 10x, 20x, and even 100x as well. So even that is possible. So a clear message to everyone: invest in India, invest in a systematically way, invest in a systematic way, and yeah, you guys will be much more wealthier till 2031. So that's it from my side. Thanks a lot for your patience, for your time, to giving your time to me on a festival day. Thanks a lot. Uh, Till then, bye bye. And in case you have any queries, feel free to reach out at the given contact details. Thanks a lot. Thank you.